Hey, what's up guys? I'm glad that you clicked on this video and decided to watch this, and I hope that you enjoy what you see. So if that kind of video interests you, then keep watching. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be going through all of my books, but I'm going to start with my most hated or my least rated all the way up to the big boys. Boy, I would rate it the highest of the highest. I love it. So in these books, I'm gonna be telling you guys my ratings. So I'm gonna start with my 1-star reads and all the way up to, I'm gonna go to my 6-star reads. So in this video, you're gonna be seeing a lot of Kindle books that I've read because look, this year I was a Kindle girly, y'all. I was a Kindle girly this year. But I do have some physicals that I read. Also, I did do a lot of audiobooks as well. Also, keep in mind, I just started reading this year. And I'm sure you're wondering, Heather, why are you starting a booktube channel if you just started reading this year? Because I love it. And I have fun. And I enjoy it. And I hope that you enjoy watching me enjoying it. So, yeah. Okay, let me get out my Goodreads. Yeah. So starting off first is a book that was recommended to me. I started it and I absolutely hated it. And look, I know that this is probably going to be an unpopular opinion. I don't really care for a lot of schmut. I really don't. I don't care for it. I am a girly that sticks with a book for the storyline, not for the amount of schmut. Do you know what I mean? So with that being said, this book I really felt like it was 99% schmut and 1% a story. So I personally, if I could rate it 0 stars, I would have rated it 0 stars because for me, I couldn't stand it. But I know that it was a favorite for some of you guys. So that book is called The Never King by Nikki St. Crow. And basically, it's like a Peter Pan type retelling. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for me at all. It wasn't for me. Okay. And then speaking of... okay, scratch it. And speaking of Peter Pan retelling, there was another book that I rated 1 star because it was the exact same way for me. It was mostly all schmut and almost no story, and that book was called Hooked in the Never After series. So this is absolutely nothing against Emily McIntyre. It's just the fact that the book wasn't for me. I know that there's a lot of people out there that love these books, and that's completely fine. I respect that. The thing I love most about book reading and anything to do with books is that everyone has their own opinions and what they like and don't like. And although we may not all like the same stuff, that's completely fine. Okay, so next up, Gallant by V.E. Schwab. Now, I know that V.E. Schwab is a very popular author. However, this is the first book that I've read from this author. And Gallant wasn't for me, honestly. I just kind of skimmed through a lot of it because it was just, I don't know, a lot of it was very hard to follow for me, and I had a really hard time keeping up with it and gripping onto it, and so for that reason I rated it 1 star. So that wraps it up for my 1-star reads. Now let's move on to my 2-star reads. Next up in my 2-star reads is The Guest List by Lucy Foley. This book was not for me. Like I said in my previous video, is that I feel like 90% of the book was how the characters know each other, and then 10% was the actual storyline. Who was killed, how were they killed, why were they killed, and things of that sort. And so I just would have rathered them reversed. So that's why I rated it a 2-star. It was really, I don't know, for me, it just kind of got lost in translation. Moving on to my 3-star reads. Here we go. Coming in hot is the book that I talked about in my last video, which is Falling for You by T. Thomas. I enjoyed this book so much. I rated it 3 stars just because I would have liked the book to be longer and just had more content in it. And for me, it just wasn't enough. I loved every minute of it. I just wish that there was more. And for that reason, it is a 3-star for me. Next up in my 3-star reads is Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. Now, I actually really enjoyed this book. I thought it was cute. It was fluffy. I listened to it on my audiobook. But I did rate it a 3-star read just because that I am very strict on my ratings. So it was nothing wrong with the book. It just wasn't my favorite. And for that reason alone, it just was a 3-star. It's called Never Lie by Frida McFadden. This book, y'all, hold up. This book, I'm great about guessing endings on books or movies, TV shows, whatever, what have you. But the ending on this one, y'all, no. I didn't guess it at all. I don't even know how you would guess it. This is crazy. It was literally crazy. But yeah, it was a great book. Again, I'm just really strict with my ratings. Alright, next up is A Court of Dragons and Crowns by G. Bailey. Again, it was a great book. I just feel like at times it was a little too much for me and my style and what I personally like in books. But, I mean, it was a really good book. It was well written. G. Bailey did a great job in this novel. However, it just, you know, it was a 3-star. It was a 3-star. Alright guys, now we got to the 4 stars. I am pumped up to tell you guys my 4, 5, and my 1 6-star read. So let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into it. I'm telling y'all, when I tell y'all I love these books, when I tell you guys I love these books, I mean I love these books. So first up in my 4-star reads is The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. This book, y'all, this book was a good book. Like, I don't know. I don't understand how more people aren't talking about it. Y'all. So this book is basically like the Vampire Diaries meets Hunger Games. It's kind of like the Hunger Games but vampires instead, and there's one human girl in the race. Whoever wins the race and the competition gets one wish granted of their choosing, and you get to see how it all plays out. Again, I highly recommend this book. I love it. I can't talk enough about it. It's a great book. Go read it. If you like fantasy, definitely read it. Or actually, even if you don't like fantasy, it's not too fantasy-y. Okay, guys, so next up is Light Lark by Alex Astor. Can we talk about this cover? That is a beautiful cover, guys. Like, that's gorgeous. So the thing about Light Lark is that I almost DNF'd it for good. For good. The way she started this book was like, you kind of already have to know what's going on. And I feel like that's why this book got a lot of hate that it did. However, if you stick with this book, once you reach about chapter 9, it really picks up. And I'm glad that I did. I actually really enjoyed this book, and I can't wait to begin to listen to Nightbane. Oh my gosh, you guys. This next book speaks to my heart, y'all. My dream was to be a detective. However, I can't do it just because some of the things that you need to see or that you have to see on the job, I don't think that I could personally do it. And so for that reason, I just can't. I decided not to do that type of job. However, I'm living my dreams through books and movies. And so that's why I love this book so much. It's called All Mine by Blake Pierce. It's about an FBI agent who, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, her sister is actually kidnapped and murdered. So basically, her job as an FBI agent, she specifies in kidnapped girls and solving the crimes and the murders and trying to find these girls or trying to find these people that are kidnapped before it's too late. And there's one girl in particular that she's trying to find, and so basically race for time to find this girl before she's killed. It's a great book. It's a short read. This book is only 160 pages. I finished it in one day. And so if you like mystery thriller books, I highly suggest this book, and I highly suggest making the time to pick it up. Belladonna. Belladonna, y'all. I really didn't guess the ending. I thought it was pretty crazy. This book is about a girl who, when she was a baby, she was at a party with her family and everyone around her is killed by the belladonna berry, but she survives, and she actually ends up discovering that she's immune. And I don't want to spoil too much of the book, but another situation happens and she's basically at a race for time to try to save two individuals in her life that mean a lot to her. And you just kind of, no, I don't want to spoil it. You just kind of gotta read it and understand. I read it. This book, you know, hold on. This book is spectacular in audiobook. Hey guys, so the next up is House of Beating Wings by Olivia. I hope I don't butcher this last name, but I think it's Wildenstein? Olivia Wildenstein? It's book one in a series of The Kingdom of Crows. This book, look. There is a certain crow in this book that a lot of people fell for. He seems like a stand-up fella. So this book is actually about a girl who ends up finding out that she is royalty and she's in love with another prince. However, I don't want to ruin it, but the prince ends up giving me the ick. He gave me the ick. Did not care for him. And so in this book, she's having to, again, I don't know why, this is like my favorite trope. She's at a race against time, on a scavenger hunt to find all these crows, collect every single crow in order to gain her crown and become royalty. So yes, now you are on this journey with her to find all these crows, and there's some hiccups along the way. And again, guys, it's a great book. I highly suggest it. Next one, I'm not going to give too long of a telling about because this is a very famous author. We're in between 3 stars and 4 stars with me. I rated it 4 stars because it's the first book I ever read. I ended up falling in love with the characters and the storyline. However, it was really sad that the person who ended up being the bad guy was the bad guy. That part ended up breaking my heart. I'm talking about the book and I'm not even telling you guys what the book is. So this is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Again, I'm sure you've heard of Colleen Hoover. If you're anywhere into the book world, I'm sure you've heard a ton of things about her books and her as a person. And yes, that is all I've got to say about the book. Next up, guys, is Good Girl, Bad Blood. This author is a literal genius. It's something about the way that she writes. She does a good job. Like, I mean, the way that she hooks you from the very beginning of these books. Like, the woman's a genius. She's an actual genius. If you've never heard of this series, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, this is Holly Jackson, a great, phenomenal, beautiful author. Love this author. I love this author. I love this author. I love this author. This is book 2 in a series of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I don't know what it is with me and books about a race against time. Book, you follow Pip in a race against time to find a friend of hers that has been kidnapped, and she is going through her own struggles and battles at the same time, but she pushes it aside in order to find this certain individual and make sure that they are found safe. And yes, one of my favorite times has come, and it's my 5-star read so far that I have. And I'm so excited to tell you about these books. There's a reason why I rated them 5 stars. I really enjoy these books, guys. I love them so much. I think they're so well written. For me, if I rate a book 5 stars, it had to, 1, catch me from the very beginning, 2, hold me throughout the book, 3, have a great storyline, 4, just be fantastic. That's what I gotta say. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Y'all. This was a good book, y'all. This was a really good book. This was such a good book. Look, I know I'm coming off as crazy, but I really am passionate about these books that I've rated 5 stars. I am. I'm just saying. Look, you should stay tuned in this video, because if you see how I'm reacting to these 5-star reads, wait till you see how I react to my 6-star read. So in this book, you follow Pip and Sal to try and solve a murder that happened in their hometown. And a lot of situations come along the way. People try to throw hurdles at Pip to stop her from finding out the truth, but she does not let that tear her down. Her and Sal end up fighting through these battles. Yeah, I don't want to ruin it for you guys. But please go read it. It's such a great book. I don't think that you'll guess the ending. I didn't guess the ending. And yeah, guys. So go read it. Do I really even have to say anything about this book, y'all? Not even know the series. I've only read the first 2. I'm about to start the 3rd one in this series, but y'all, the first 2 are my 5 stars. The first 2 are my 5 stars. It's a great book. I don't have the physical of A Court of Mist and Fury, but it's with us in heart and on my Kindle. So if you've never heard of A Court of Thorns and Roses, it's about a girl named Feyre who kills this beast, and his best friend ends up coming to her house to avenge his friend, and he ends up making Feyre live with him in his castle. It gives Beauty and the Beast vibes for sure, with some twist. And if y'all know what that twist is, his name's Rhysand. His name is Rhysand. And if y'all have read this book, y'all know, or if y'all have even read this series, y'all know about Rhysand. I don't even have to say it. I know y'all know about Rhysand. That's all I really got to say about this book, y'all. Sarah J. Maas. Sarah, middle name that starts with a J. Maas. You are an amazing author, girl. I want/need a signature, girl. I love your books. I think I found another one of my favorite authors, and this is Alice Feeney, and the book is called Rock, Paper, Scissors. When I tell y'all, I did not guess the ending of this book. Like, the ending had me bamboozled. I was absolutely flabbergasted. I was gobsmacked. Is that what it's called? This was my exact reaction to the ending. I'm not even joking with y'all. This was my exact reaction. I ain't playing. That's what it was. That's what it was. I don't know if me telling you about the book will do it justice. So I'm trying here. So this couple ends up winning a trip through her job to this certain location, and as they're there, they find out that they realize that they're being watched, and the person that ends up watching them was the one who figured out a way to send them on that trip. Stuff from their past to basically haunt them for the things that they've done and choices that they've made. I can't do this book justice, y'all. This next book has my absolute heart. I ended up hearing about this book from Book of the Month, and I was wondering, because the cover was so beautiful, that I decided to look it up and see what it was about. And from a fellow foster mama, I love this book. It was about a girl who, she is fostering this child, but she's about to lose him because she doesn't have the finances to provide for him, so they're going to take him from her. But she ends up going to this island where she competes in this competition, and basically she tries to win the money so that she can keep him. And you just see how it goes. There's a lot of twists and turns and tricks and things of that sort. So I would highly suggest picking up this book. I listened to it on my Libby account. You can do it however you want to do it. But again, I rated it 5 stars for a reason. I loved it. The book is called The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. I'm about to tell y'all my 6-star read. And I know that it was a lot of people's favorites, but also heard it was some people's not favorites. I don't understand you people, but I respect you. Sure, you guys know what book I'm gonna pull up right now. I love this book. I love this book. I love this book. I love this book. Okay. I gotta calm down. However, okay. Hold on. Before I tell y'all what book this is, I got 10 pages in before pre-ordering the second one. I'm not playing. I really did. I'm not even playing with y'all. I'm telling the truth. 10 pages in, I pre-ordered. I loved it so much, I pre-ordered the second one. It's just that kind of book. So now, it is that time to show you my 6-star read, The Fourth Wing. The Fourth Wing, y'all. I love this book. I love this book. I love this book. I go crazy about this book. Any person that says, Heather, what is your favorite book of all time? This one. I personally think it'll always be my favorite book. I don't know. Maybe I'll like Iron Flame more, or the rest of the books that are going to be in the series in the future. But right now, and in the near, just right now, it's my favorite book. This book had me in the reading slump of all reading slumps. First off, the amount of theories that I have on this book, baffling. So if you don't know anything about The Fourth Wing, you follow a girl named Violet as she goes through what is called the Writer's Quadrant. And basically in this, you have to compete in order to make it through to the Writer's Quadrant, and most people end up dying. And once you make it through, you have to find a dragon that will choose you. And it's kind of like it's kind of like an adult version of How to Train Your Dragon with a good amount of twists. I don't know. That's the best I can explain it. But you have to find a dragon that chooses you, and if you don't find a dragon, basically you either die or you gotta do the whole thing over again when the time comes. And let's just say I can't spoil it for you guys. But things definitely look up for her. Also, one of my favorite tropes of all time is in this book, and it's enemies to lovers. That is one of my favorite most love tropes. I don't know why, but I am a sucker for enemies to lovers. Okay guys, so that wraps up all the books that I've read so far this year. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you liked what you saw, and maybe you found some books that you want to add to your TBR. And if you did, let me know in the comments. See you next time.